Good afternoon, ma'am. In previous class, we have seen Rutherford's experiment, alpha scattering experiment. How Rutherford conducted the experiment and how he just gone through the existence of nucleus, all those observations we have done. Okay, and after that immediately we started with the drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model. I hope you are very clear about the experiment and how he made the conclusions also. Everything. You are very clear about that. Okay, what is the first postulate? Most of the atom is empty. Next, second one, he found the small size total positive charge of the atom is present at the center within small region, that is called nucleus. From here onwards, existence of nucleus is present. That means this is the successful explanation given by Rutherford. Okay, third one, he observed that if electron is present at stationary, it is not possible. After that, if it is in motion, it is possible with circular motion only. Like that, finally, he concluded positive charge is present at center, that is called nucleus, and electrons revolve around the nucleus like planets revolve around the sun. That's why that model is also called planetary model or solar model. These are the things we discussed. Even first drawback. And the drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model. Okay, we have seen first one. What is that first one, man? This is the positive charge, which is called nucleus. Surrounding that negative charge particle, which is electron, is revolving. Electron is massive particle. Massive means even though the mass of the electron is very less, it has some mass, 9.1 into 10 power minus 28 grams. Whatever it might be, it has some mass or not, definitely. Okay, a massive particle, that too opposite charged particle, electron is negative charged particle, proton is, this is nucleus is positive charge, no? When opposite charge, there is electron is revolving around the nucleus, okay, and it is contained by some mass, definitely that electron should lose energy. Definitely that electron should lose energy. Without losing energy, how that electron is present in that orbit? That is the question. Without losing the electron, how that electron is present in that orbit? Okay, suppose if electron loses energy, okay, then this is nucleus. First, after completion of one revolution, it will come a little bit closer. Further, after completion of second revolution, like that, finally it will fall into the nucleus. If electron falls into the nucleus, atom is no longer existed. If electron is fallen into the nucleus, atom is no longer existed, but atoms are existed. Where we are able to see us, correct or not? This is nothing but we are group of atoms only. Atoms are existed, but electron is not maintaining this path. It is maintaining this path only. Without losing energy, how electron is present in that orbit continuously? Without losing energy, how electron is present in that orbit? That is the question. That question was not given clarity by Rutherford. That is the first drawback. Scientists immediately they asked that, okay, you told correct only, according to your observations, okay, positive charge, entire positive charge is present at center. That is very good. Okay, it is called nucleus. This is called nucleus. Okay, we will agree with that one. Then coming to this electron, when negative charge particle, that electron is revolving around the nucleus, definitely that electron must lose energy. Okay, how it without losing energy? How without losing energy that electron is able to maintain that path? That is the question asked by other scientists, which was not given explanation by Rutherford. It is remained as first drawback. Now shall we go for second drawback, man? This one already in last class also we have seen. Now we will see second drawback. To observe this second drawback, I would like to just correlate with one general example. After that I will come to this second drawback. See once, let us observe sunlight. We know sunlight is in white color actually. Correctly, when we see it is in yellow color like that, it is appeared, but actually it is white color. Okay, ma? Sunlight is in white color. The sunlight, when it is passed through prism like material, that one not only prism, ma, even with our scales, you are using scales, na? Just observe that scale with that edge portion is there, na? Observe that edge portion of the scale under light. You will see 3 or 4 colors. Is it correct or not? Not only that one. Let us consider water is fallen on the floor. On that water, little amount of oil is present. Little amount of oil is floating. Okay? With little bit angle, observe that oil. We will see some color. Different colors will be observed in that oil. Those oil coming to this scale, these are all acting like prism. These are all acting like almost like prism, but not perfect, no? But in laboratory we have prism like this material. Prism is there. Okay. Through this prism, when white color is passed, okay, that white color is split into 7 colors. White color is split into 7 colors. That 7 colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. You know already. This one was explained in your physics subject also. Okay. This is splitting of one color into 7 colors. This is called spectrum. What is that? This is called spectrum. Observation of rainbow. At that time, if you get rain and sunlight, we will observe the rainbow. Actually, rainbow contains totally 7 colors, but we are not able to see 7 colors, no? 3, 4 like that colors we can see, because this light, whatever it is passing, that light is passing through water droplets. Their water droplets are acting like prism, but not like perfect prism, no? They are acting like almost like prism. That's why they can split that into colors. Okay, these are all observation of one white light into splitting into further more lights, colors. Okay, this is totally VIBGYOR. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. That is observation of VIBGYOR, totally 7 colors. These total 7 colors are combined to be observed like a white color. Observation of these 7 colors on the screen. Observation of these 7 colors on the screen is called spectrum. Sir, why you are telling now spectrum? Now you will understand. Coming to second drawback. Okay, this is simple basic introduction, ma? Perfectly deeply about this spectrum. Deeply about this spectrum. Everything we will study in next coming classes. Okay, no problem at all. Till now, if you are clear, now I will go through second drawback. Okay, under second drawback, on drawback second one, let us see, ma. See all of you. This is the atom. This is nucleus and this is electron. Okay, now this is nucleus and this is electron. According to first drawback, if electron is going to lose energy. If electron is going to lose energy. Actually, what is the question they asked? Without losing energy, how electron is present in that orbit? Without losing energy, how electron is present in that orbit? It should not follow circular path. It should follow spiral path. Correct? It is not circular path. Actually, it should not follow circular path. No? It should follow spiral path. At that time, what happened? This electron, when it comes from here to here, from first path to second path, energy is lost. correct? From second part to third part, some amount of energy is going to be lost. Like that, energy is going to be lost continuously. This is energy lost. Energy was lost continuously. That energy, whatever it is going to be lost by electron, when it is maintaining the spiral path, it should be a continuous energy. Then when that energy, continuous energy, is passed through a prism-like material, the continuous energy which is emitted from electron, if it is passing through prism, on prism we should get continuous spectrum. Without any gap, we have to get continuous spectrum. Why? Energy is continuous, na? That energy is continuous, na? That's why that spectrum also must be continuous. But practically, scientists observed, this is actual observation, must be done. But scientists observed like this discontinuous spectrum. What is that? They observed practically discontinuous spectrum, but theory it is explaining continuous spectrum. There is a controversy, correct or not? Same? There is a controversy. If Rutherford is correct, energy lost by the electron must be continuous. If that energy lost by the electron is continuous, when we pass that energy through the prism, we should get continuous spectrum. But practically on screen we are getting discontinuous spectrum. Is it correct or not? Practically we are getting discontinuous spectrum. Why we are getting discontinuous spectrum? That was not explained by Rutherford. This is remained as second drawback. Okay, ma'am? And this is coming as the second drawback of Rutherford, ma'am. 1 minute once again, let us see what happened here. In previous drawback we have seen that when electron is a small particle with some mass, with negative charge, if it is revolving around that positive charge nucleus, okay, continuously it should lose energy. And it should not follow circular path. With a spiral path it should fall into the nucleus. Like Martin coil, how it will be, like that it should follow the path and it should fall into the nucleus. But what is happening here? If the energy lost by the electron is continuous, energy was lost continuously, if you send that energy through the prism, we should get continuous spectrum. But practically we are getting discontinuous spectrum. These are the main drawbacks of Rutherford, which were not explained by Rutherford. These are treated as failures. Okay. To explain these failures, next scientist by name Niels Bohr, he gave one model that is called Niels Bohr atomic model. Okay. Actually, Niels Bohr atomic model is not an experiment, but Rutherford already has done the experiment now. Depending on that experiment, he evaluated and elaborated the model and he added some more points. Who? Niels Bohr. Okay, that Niels Bohr atomic model we are going to see now. And we have seen already drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model. I hope you are clear about this one. Let us continue with this one. See. Bohr's atomic model. Point wise, slowly I will explain. Note down them carefully. Okay, let us see first one. Even Bohr actually successful explanation of Rutherford was existence of nucleus. Is it correct or not? Successful explanation of Rutherford was existence of nucleus. So depending on the nucleus only, Niels Bohr extended the model. Okay, let us see. Atom contains total positive charge present at the center, which is called nucleus. Atom contains total positive charge present at the center, which is called nucleus. And electrons which are outside the nucleus, they revolve around the nucleus in different orbits. They revolve around the nucleus in different orbits without losing energy. Without losing energy. That's why these orbits are called stationary orbits. First point once again, coming to Bohr's atomic model. Total positive charge present in the atom. Total positive charge present in the atom will be at center of the atom only. That is called nucleus. That is called nucleus. Electrons which are present outside the nucleus. Electrons which are present outside the nucleus, they are present in different orbits. Like this. This is first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit, like that. Electrons are present in different orbits. Okay. And one more point he joined here, one more line, that is electrons are revolving around the nucleus without losing energy. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits without losing energy. Without losing energy. Those orbits are called stationary orbits. Stationary means constant. As long as electron is present in the orbit, in that orbit, it is not going to lose energy. That is the meaning of stationary orbit. Okay, let us just take one general example. A running race is going to happen. They will draw circles now. In the running race, they will draw circles. Just imagine center. First circle contains some electrons. Second circle contains some electrons. Third circle contains some electrons. Okay, now a racer is like electron. Suppose think that racer without losing energy, he is revolving in his circle. A racer without losing energy, he is revolving in his circle. Then that's orbit. These are all lines called orbit. Okay, that orbit is called stationary orbit. Those orbits are called stationary orbits. Once again, what is the first point? Coming under Bohr's atomic model, he took total positive charge at the center only. This point was taken from Rutherford. Okay, so in an atom, total positive charge is present at the center, which is called nucleus. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits without losing energy. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits without losing energy. That's why those orbits are called stationary orbits. But one small doubt, that is, why electrons are not losing energy? Even that explanation was not given by Bohr. Simply he told electrons are not losing energy. That point also was not explained by Rutherford. That point also was not explained by Rutherford. But what did he say, Niels Bohr? Okay. What did he say? Niels Bohr told that electrons, whenever they are present in that orbit, for suppose one electron is present here, this electron is not going to lose energy. One electron is present here, this electron is not going to lose energy. Okay, that's why these are all orbits. 1, 2, 3, 4, all combinedly called stationary orbits. Okay, total positive charge in the atom is present at center, which is called nucleus. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits without losing energy, and those orbits are called stationary orbits. This is the first point. Okay, next, second point. Coming to second point, Niels Bohr gave numbers to the orbits. Niels Bohr gave numbers to the orbits. and he represented the number of the orbit with n. First one n is equal to 1, second one n is equal to 2, third one n is equal to 3, fourth one n is equal to 4, if you have fifth one n is equal to 5, like that, etc. Okay, n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Same, n is equal to 1 is given name. Actually this is number ma, he gave the name as k. N is equal to 1 means k. L, M, N. If you have fifth one like this, O, continuation. Like this. This is second point. Niels Bohr gave numbers and names to the orbits. Those are n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. and k, l, m, n, o, etc. respectively. Means n is equal to 1 or k, both are same. N is equal to 2, l, n is equal to 3, m, n is equal to 4, n. Like that it will be continued. Okay ma? Here one more thing I would like to add. These orbits are there na? These orbits are called shells. Orbits or shells. Then stationary orbits are stationary shells. Okay ma? Orbits are also called shells. Stationary orbits are stationary shells. Both are same only. This is about second point. Are you clear about second point? First point, total positive charge present in the atom is present at center and electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits. Okay, in different orbits without losing energy. So those orbits are called stationary orbits. Next. He gave the numbers to the orbits, no? That is n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, etc. n is equal to 4. Okay. In the same way, n is equal to 1 is nothing but k, n is equal to l. Names also he gave. Those are k, l, m, n, o, etc. This is about second point. Now, orbits are also called shells. Sometimes I will use stationary orbits or sometimes I will use stationary shells. Okay. Now, next, third point. Coming to third point, before going to third point, I would like to say something, that is, if you take one body with some mass m moving with velocity v, okay, straightly like this, this is called linear motion. The straight line motion is called linear motion. This is a floor ma. On that floor, simply it is moving like this with mass m, velocity v. Then this body has linear momentum. Linear momentum is equal to mv, mass into velocity. This is coming under physics only. Okay, linear momentum is equal to mv. Okay. Now, if the same body, if it is in circular motion with some mass m moving with some velocity v, this body, same body ma, here previously this is called linear motion. Now this is called angular motion or circular motion. Angular motion or circular motion. Okay, it is in circular motion. Let us think that with some mass m and velocity moving with some velocity v with radius r. Radius means distance from the center. Okay, then this body has angular momentum. Then this body has angular momentum, which is equal to mass into velocity into radius. Previously mass into velocity only. Now we have radius also, mvr. So if a body is in circular motion, it has angular momentum which is equal to mvr. Now my question is, Instead of this body, I am considering electron. Now electron is in straight line motion or circular motion? Definitely it is in circular motion. So that electron must contain angular momentum. Electron must contain angular momentum. To understand that one, two differences I have drawn here. Linear motion and angular motion, like that. Okay. Now electron must contain angular momentum. No need to consider about this one. To understand that one, this one I have written now. Okay. Let us see. Let us consider this is nucleus, first shell, second shell, like this. Okay. Now electron is present here. One electron is present here. This electron is present with radius, some radius, and this electron is also present with some radius here. Two radii are different or not? Definitely. This is small radius, this is big radius. Okay, now when an electron, I am talking about this electron, when an electron is present in the particular orbit, when an electron is present in the particular orbit, its angular momentum, this electron has angular momentum like this. Let us imagine this body as electron. It has some mass m. It is moving with some velocity v, and it has some radius. Correct or not? mvr. Angular momentum of the electron present in that particular orbit. Angular momentum of the electron present in that particular orbit is constant. Angular momentum of the electron present in that particular orbit is constant, and that is equal to nh by 2 pi. mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Okay. Now once again, angular momentum of the electron present in the particular orbit is conserved. Conserved means constant. Angular momentum of the electron present in the particular orbit is conserved. Meaning of that conservation is constant. Okay. How can we say that that is constant? Now I am telling that mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Okay, let us see. Where n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Where n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now, if electron is present in first orbit, n is equal to 1, then angular momentum mvr is equal to, implies mvr is equal to 1 into h by 2 pi. This is constant. Whenever electron is present in first orbit, it has constant h by 2 pi value. mvr is equal to h by 2 pi. Next, if n is equal to 2, implies mvr is equal to 2 into h by 2 pi. Next, if n is equal to 3, mvr is equal to 3h by 2 pi. Like that, continuation. If n is equal to n, nth orbit, 1, 2, 3, like that we are continuing, then this implies mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. This one I wrote here. Okay. So if electron is present in first orbit, its angular momentum is called constant, h by 2 pi, where h is equal to Planck's constant. That one also I will discuss more. Okay, now let us see. mvr is equal to 1h by 2 pi. Next, n is equal to 2. mvr is equal to 2h by 2 pi. n is equal to 3. mvr is equal to 3h by 2 pi. Like that it will be continued. Okay, I would like to say one thing, that is, what is meant by a constant? Constant is the value which never be changed. Constant is the value which never be changed. Now I will give clarity about this one. I am going to rub this side. See, mvr I told is equal to one constant only. One value will not be changed, one only. Okay, h value. H is a constant which is called Planck's constant. (6.626 into 10 power minus 27 erg second, or 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. This is constant, never be changed. H value, if you take every time, its value, it might be here, this one or this one. In ergs it will be like this, in joules it will be like this. It is a constant. H is constant. 2 everywhere it is constant only. Na? 1, 2, 3, these are all constant only, 2 constant only. Next pi is equal to 22 by 7. This is also constant. Right side, if it is full constant, then total value is constant. Nowhere it is going to be changed. That is the meaning. MVR is equal to conserved. Conserved means constant. Okay, ma? Note down these values neatly. Max Planck. Name of the scientist is Max Planck. He, according to his name, they gave one constant H, that is called Planck's constant. This is not Max Planck's constant, simply Planck's constant, it is enough. But name of the scientist, complete name is Max Planck. Planck's quantum theory. In next coming classes we are going to see. Okay, before that one, just be in touch with this Planck's constant, all of you. Are you clear now? This is about third point. Shall we go to fourth point now? Okay, next, coming to fourth point. I hope you are clear. Angular momentum of the electron present in the particular orbit is constant. That is the meaning here, conserved. Okay, now fourth point under Bohr's atomic model. This is nucleus. This is first orbit, second orbit, third, fourth orbit, like this. Okay, electron, if it is present in first orbit, its energy is E1. If electron is present in second orbit, its energy is E2. If it is present in third orbit, E3. Please don't think that same electron how it is present in first, second, third orbit like this. So many electrons are there. Sodium has 11 electrons. Sodium has 11 electrons. So some electrons present in first orbit, some electrons present in second orbit, and some electrons present in third orbit. Like that it will be continued. Okay. And energy of fourth orbit, E4. If electron is present in fourth shell or orbit, it carries E4. Now Bohr gave one order for this E1, E2, E3, E4. That order is E1 is less than, E2 is less than, E3 is less than, this is fourth point, E4 is less than, E5 is less than, and so on. What is the meaning of this one? When we move away from the nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. When we move away from the nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. This is like 0, ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. Like that you can continue, you can consider. Okay. Generally, if a classroom is present in fifth floor without lift, no one wants to go into that fifth floor. It is very painful, correct or not? Because it has high amount of energy. To reach that floor, we have to consume very large amount of energy. By that itself, we will get pains, leg pains. Correct or not? So, when we move away from ground floor, energy of the floor also increases. That's why no one, generally they will not prefer very high number of floors. If it have lift means okay. But without lift, everyone is going to prefer ground floor only. Because with less amount of energy, we can enter into that one. That means ground floor has least energy. So, the orbit which is nearer to the nucleus, it has least energy, E1. E1 is less than E2. E2 is less than E3. E3 is less than E4. E4 is less than E5. The point for this fourth point is, when we move away from the nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. When we move away from the nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. Once again, when we move away from the nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. This is the point which was given by Niels Bohr. These are all points not given by Rutherford. That is the greatness. Without doing experiment, These many points were given by Niels Bohr. But even Niels Bohr also has some drawbacks. That one also we will discuss after completion of this completely. This model we have to discuss. After that one we will go for drawbacks. Okay, so you can understand. Slowly we are constituting the structure of atom. Slowly, model wise. First J.I. Thomson model we have seen. After that Rutherford model, it is experiment. Depending on that, Niels Bohr gave some more points. Okay, ma? This is about fourth point. What is the fourth point you want to write in notes? That is, when we move away from nucleus, energy of the orbit also increases. When we move away from the nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. That is the point related to fourth one. Draw this diagram like this and write this order. For everything, maximum try to draw the diagram. It is better. It is very clear for you only. At the time of revision, it is very clear for you. Okay, next, fifth point. Fifth point, if electron is present in fourth orbit, suppose let us consider two orbits are there. Electron is present in second orbit. Okay, by mistakenly it came to first orbit. By mistake, sir, why sir it will come to this E1? That one you will get clarity in next coming classes, ma. It will be getting doubt generally, but I can understand. You will get clarity about this point in next coming classes, no problem at all. Okay, now see. When an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, definitely E2 is more energy when compared to E1. E2 has more energy when compared to E1. Now my point is, when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, difference in the amount of energy is emitted in the form of radiation. Difference in the amount of energy, E2 minus E1. Difference in the amount of energy is released in the form of radiation, which is equal to h nu. Which is equal to h nu, where E2 is equal to energy of higher energy orbit. E1 is equal to energy of lower energy orbit. Next, H is equal to Planck's constant. Same value previously I wrote, that value only. 6.626 into 10 power minus 27 erg second. H value. Next, nu. Nu is called frequency. This frequency, about this frequency also you will get in next coming classes, that is wave nature of electron. At that time I will only explain that frequency also, no problem. Okay, so once again I am repeating this point. When an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, difference in the amount of energy is emitted in the form of radiation. Difference in the amount of energy is emitted in the form of radiation. That radiation is equal to E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu. E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu, where E2 is called energy of higher energy orbit, E1 is equal to energy of lower energy orbit, h is equal to Planck's constant, that value I wrote, that is a constant, nu is equal to frequency. Okay, I would like to say one thing, that is, we are coming from 5th floor to 4th floor. 5th floor, it has high energy. Coming to 4th floor, little bit heat energy will be developed to our body, because we are doing some work now. To come from 5th floor to 4th floor, our body is doing some work. Because of that, some amount of energy is released from our body, which is little bit heat energy. But one person, he is coming from 5th floor to 1st floor. That person who is coming from 5th floor to 1st floor, he has difference more amount of energy, that's why his body is getting more amount of energy liberation. his body is getting more amount of energy liberation. His body will get more hot when compared to first person. What is the meaning of this one? From which floor to which floor we are coming down, according to that, difference of the energy is coming out in the form of heat energy for our body. If you come from 5th to 4th, according to that, small difference only, it is coming out as heat energy. But if you come from 5th to 1st, large difference is there, that is coming out in the form of heat energy, but more amount of energy. Okay, that is depending on nu. H is constant only. If you come from higher energy to lower energy, suppose this is E2 and E1. If electron jumps from E3 to E1, E3 to E1, energy gap is high, then this mu value is also high. Nu value is not constant. That's why we didn't give the value for nu. At the time we are doing the problems, they will give the value of nu. Nu means frequency of radiation. How much radiation is released? How much radiation is released, that is depending on energy gap. Is it correct, ma? Like that you can remember. Now, what is the 5th point? Once again, when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, the difference in the amount of energy is emitted in the form of radiation. That radiation formula, E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu, where E2 is equal to energy of higher energy orbit, E1 is equal to higher energy of lower energy orbit, h is equal to Planck's constant, nu is equal to frequency. Okay, this is about 5th point. Some more points we have, ma. Those points we will discuss in next class. But today, what are the points we explained? I hope you are very clear about them. If you have any small doubt also, you can reach me by WhatsApp. No problem, at any time I will clarify your doubt. Okay, ma? For today's class, it is okay. Totally 5 points under Niels Bohr model we discussed. Okay. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits with constant energy. That means without losing energy. Those are called stationary orbits. Second one. He gave the names and numbers to the orbits with n is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. as well as KL, M and shells. Okay. Third one. Angular momentum of the electron present in the orbit, particular orbit, is constant, and that value is mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. That values already we have seen. Okay. Next. When we move away from nucleus, energy of the orbit increases. That order also we wrote. 5th. When an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, difference in the amount of energy is emitted in the form of radiation. That one we wrote. This is about 5 points coming under Bohr's atomic model. The remaining points we will discuss in next class, ma. I hope you are very clear about this topic. Okay? Thank you. Thank you all. Note down the notes carefully, ma, all of you.